Hello, everybody, and welcome to Netflix Weekly. I, as always, am Rob, and with me, as always, is
Phil.
Huzzah! Let's talk about anything interesting. For me today,
Yeah.
that was interesting. I changed, did a not complete water change, but the regular water change you've got to do every 6 weeks for our aquarium. We have a 125-gallon aquarium. Which was a lot of fun.
Oh, that was the hole in the wall that you posted.
Yeah, and it's cool. I put up what it looks like after the hole, like the actual aquarium.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, I thought I did.
Well, if you did, it's on the screen now.
But yeah, there we go. And
I
as you
can
can
do
see,
that.
the aquarium's right here. But no, so I had to change that out. So
Make
that
it more
was
difficult. Now I got to put it down there.
yeah, I got to put it exactly wherever I put my hand. But yeah, so that was fun. And the sink that we commonly call our son's sink, the boys' sink.
Sink.
Like, like the sink, like in their bathroom, right? So it's their bathroom. It's a sink in their bathroom. It was just totally fucking clogged. Nice. So I tried to run Drano down it. It was like, no. I'm like, all right, I gotta fucking change it. So yesterday I bought the new sink piece, the drain that goes down there, and taking out the old one, it must have come with the house. It was so fucking old and just caked with gunk that I couldn't unscrew it. I basically had to snap it right in half. And so, yeah, that was a fun part of my day. And I tell you, I'm sure you know this as a dad, there's nothing more fun than when you're fighting with something, trying to get it to work, and you're like, God damn it, motherfucker. And you're trying not to scream out swear words. But everyone comes over. Mom, Dad is swearing. I don't like it when Dad. Dad. Can you not? Hey, Dad. Yes. Can you not swear so much while you're doing that? I will try. Okay. Because I don't like. Okay, go away. I'm trying to fix the sink. Hey, Dad, if you were a character of Minecraft, what character would be? You're like, oh my sweet Jesus, just go away for 5 minutes and let me fix this sink. So that job that should have taken me about half an hour took me about 2 hours. And then after that I was like, all right, now I'm going to sit down and watch this show. And then my wife decided, hey, I like this show. This show looks like it's going to be good. So as soon as she starts sitting down and watching it, I paused to talk to my phone and tell my phone, hey, like whatever notes I'm keeping. So she didn't like that, and then she had her opinion of my notes, and so lesson
as they do.
If you're going to watch these shows for a podcast, don't watch them with other people. Just watch them by yourself. Unless you want to.
Don't take notes with your voice during the movie. I can just see you going to the cinema and just doing it.
Well, you know what? Because if I go into like frantic fucking scribbling, because I try to get like every idea that's currently in my head and every comparison that I'm making, so I kind of remind myself of the mindset that I'm in and why I felt this way towards whatever is in a scene. And so I'm saying stuff like, this is just like Room 237. This is just like Don't Fuck with Cats and stuff like that. And then, of course, my wife's like, what's Room 237? I go, never mind. You wouldn't like it. It's a Shining documentary. Well, how is it like? Just shut up. Just shut up. I'm watching this. Yeah, Don't Fuck with Cats. That was a crazy one. Like, oh, my God. Next time I do this, I'm doing it by myself. But, so that was my day. How was your day, Phil?
It's family day, so my wife's back is acting up, so she's been a mess. So yeah, I've had to kick into high gear, but that's fine. I went and walked one of her coworkers' dog because her coworker had knee replacement surgery.
Oh, bummer! I was just saying.
And yeah. What else? Nothing really. We were going to order something in, but then the place we wanted to order from was closed on Family Day. How dare they? And by the way, if you're from America or another country in Canada right now, I don't know if it's just Ontario.
I think it is just Ontario. Yeah, I don't think Nova Scotia celebrates it because I have a coworker who's from Nova Scotia and he doesn't celebrate it.
Today is a statutory, kind of like. take that holiday, and it's
if you work with Americans, they laugh at me every single time. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking family day off. They're like, what day is that? I'm like, family day.
We can take
They're
days
like,
off for
what
anything.
the fuck is family day? And they said, yeah, well, if I'm taking today off, I've got to spend the entire day with my family. I'm like, oh, God.
There's no school. Most people don't work.
Most places are closed.
Yeah, most places are closed. Even most grocery stores. So
yeah. Well, I need so I'm putting up the ceiling down here in the basement, drop ceiling. I need a single fucking elbow for the venting that I need to run, so that the venting, so I can move the vent over to a different place. I need one single elbow, and of course, because Home Depot and Lowe's and all those places are closed, I can't get it. So I can't finish the goddamn ceiling until
you can wait till tomorrow.
And I wanted to. I'm like, all right, today's the day, man. I'm gonna finish everything, and no, of course I can't finish this one fucking thing.
Should have been prepared.
I should have bought it yesterday. Should have done it yesterday.
No recycling gripes this week?
Nope. We'll find out, because seeing as how tomorrow is recycling day, we'll
tomorrow's going to be horrendous because of the snow. We're getting, as with most of the North America, getting a snowstorm. We're going to get about, what, 25 to 35 centimeters now?
Yeah, they said.
Which is nothing compared to some places, but Texas got snow.
Oh, really? Eh? Holy shit!
Yeah, they got a snowstorm today.
Oh, damn! Crazy. I wonder how many times they were shooting at the snowflakes that were coming down. So Phil, you and I found out that we are actually in pretty close proximity to each other.
We're almost neighbors.
Yeah. And so I was yesterday burning a bunch of wood in my backyard again, bitching about we have a fire pit in our backyard. I built me and my wife built a fire pit when we moved in, a couple months after we moved in, and we have like just this old desk and a whole bunch of shit to get rid of, and rather than leave it out for the garbage, and who will probably not take it because the garbage is probably just as fucking bad as the recycling, I'm like, fuck it, let's just burn it. So I was burning all this shit in the backyard, and I'm sure you could have seen it from your apartment building. You could have seen
well, when you told me, I didn't see a thing, but I don't know if it was over or what.
Yeah, I think the majority of it was over. But what's great is, so our backyard there's a street, like a pretty busy street that's right behind us. And there were so many people going by that I'm just sitting there on the fucking deck, just sipping my coffee, looking at all this fire, and all this smoke and shit is coming up.
Oh no, yeah.
Now, one guy drove by, and he said something, and I'm not 100% certain what he said. He just kind of went, ah! And I was like, sure. I just gave him the thumbs up, and then he drove away again. But he stopped on the road to go, oh, I was like, right on, buddy.
Your house is on fire. Okay.
Maybe that's what he said, or what he attempted to say. But I was like, all right, let it burn. And then he just drove away again. And nobody called. We were sure somebody would call the. But we've done it before, and I've been sure that people are going to fucking call the fire department. Nobody did. You can't do shit like this in Brampton. That's for goddamn sure. So I was happy to be able to do it here. But the whole point is that got rid of garbage that I would
find out later. Someone comments and goes, "Oh, you can't really do it here either."
Right? Oh, where does Rob live? Where does Phil live? Just find out what's exactly across from that and send the fucking.
Well, he was describing the street, so here's a picture from my house and a street address for Rob's house.
Circle my house where it is over here.
I won't do the Google Maps.
And there's me giving the fucking finger to the Google truck as it goes by.
Wouldn't surprise him.
All right, what honorable mentions do you have that you've been watching?
I want to definitely give a shout out to WandaVision again. I'm loving it.
I have to start WandaVision.
I'm very big into the MCU, and this, if you were into Avengers and that whole,
very much,
all of it. Well, then you're gonna love WandaVision, dude. You're gonna love it because they're introducing, like, this is the first part of this phase, I guess, and they're introducing a whole bunch of stuff for the phase.
Oh, really? Like phase? I think it's phase.
Like it's
phase 5,
4 maybe, or 3, 4. I think it's 4. It's at most 4. But they're introducing all these new things that's going to be part of this phase. My forehead is whited out, but who cares?
That's where we'll put like MCU and all the different shots that we're going to put in of stuff.
Hey,
how do you think I feel? This fucking hair. I look like Crispin Glover from Back to the Fucking Future Part 1.
Dude, look at my bald spot. Like, I have to deal with that.
It blurred out. I wonder if it thought it was part of your wall.
I should do the green screen in another room on the computer. Anyway, no, it's introducing so many things, and the average viewer would not notice, and they'd go back after watching probably a majority of the phase happen over the years, this phase, and go back and watch WandaVision and go, oh, they were hinting at this and this and this.
That's cool.
It's amazing. I love it. Go on to one of yours. And then I'll do
well, on WandaVision, I was like, yeah, I'll get around to watching it. It's there. Disney Plus is always going to be there. I'll be able to watch it. And then I've seen on like Reddit and Instagram and shit, all the pictures of the Olsen, Elizabeth Olsen, I believe her name is, dressed in like the Scarlet Witch costume, where I guess she's going out for Halloween. I was like,
that was
oh my.
This episode, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I believe I have to kind of fast track watching this because I rather enjoy that outfit that she's in.
This show very much breaks the fourth wall.
Really, eh? Because
Wanda can do that.
God damn, that girl's hot. But for me, I watched the fuck did I watch? Very forgettable horror movie. Oh, The Mortuary Collection. It's Clancy Brown. Fucking love Clancy Brown. That guy's so much fun to watch. He's just everybody's
heard of this.
Oh, it's I don't know where it's. Oh, I think it's on Shudder. It was on Shudder. It's pretty stupid. It was typical cheaply done horror movie. You know what I mean?
You love those, don't you?
But and it's done like a Tales from the Dark Side or a Tales from the Crypt or a creep show, like an anthology of stories.
For anyone who's curious, this show was originally for those movies.
Right? Right. Yeah. And
but
because I could go through those forever.
Try to go for a more mainstream thing so people would watch, right?
And then you know what I'm going to do is in our second season, then I'm going to be like, all right, assholes, I'm turning it around, and now this is all we're going to watch is these shit horror movies.
I'm going to find the ones that are on Netflix.
And
my luck, they're going to introduce a whole bunch of them like they do, like everyone's on the reality shows, the whatever.
You know what's going to be? Hey, for horror. All of October, every day of October on Netflix is these shit horror movies that we have, and I'll be like, woo, every day we're watching this. But no, I'm one show away from finishing The Stand, and holy moly, it has like a fucking atom bomb, like a meteorite fallen. It's so bad.
To me, it sounded like it was like a slow burn of like getting worse and worse and worse. For you,
what's fucked up is I thought they were really pacing the story, like they were really building these characters as much as they could build them. But then I'd say the 6th or 7th episode, it literally takes about this book is 700 pages long, the original one. I think it's like 750 pages long. They literally take about 200 pages of dialogue and cram it, I want to say, into about 10 minutes of the show. And then this last show that we just watched, it's the end of the book. Like, it's how the book ended. And I'm like, well, what the fuck would the next episode be about then? And then I did some reading, and I discovered that Stephen King himself, I don't know if they asked him or if he decided he wanted to do it. He wanted to come back and write about what happened to the survivors. And I'm like, it's like anybody who's read the Lord of the Rings books, once that ring is destroyed, now J.R. Tolkien, he wasn't an author, right? Once that ring is destroyed, that's the end of your story. You know what I mean? Your story of the destruction of the ring is finished. Now you have a couple of things to tie up, and then your story's done. With this, the story is finished, and I won't tell anybody how it finishes, but it finishes the same way it does in the book. It finishes, but now they decided they want to talk about what happens to like all the existing survivors. I'm like, who gives a fuck what happens to the survivors? The story is done.
It's done.
Yeah, the overall, like the narrative, the overarching narrative is finished. I don't give a shit what happens afterwards. Like in Lord of the Rings, and why I was bringing it up is the ring gets destroyed, and remember they go back to the Shire and they discover that Saruman is running the Shire, and there's that whole part where they've renamed him Sharky, and he's the 4 hobbits, and I guess the whole point was to show the hobbits have grown up and now they can battle it. It was stupid. It's totally pointless.
You could have made all that up and I would have believed you.
But it's Sharky. Yeah, I've read that book. I've read that book a couple of times, and it's an important book that everybody needs to read. The Lord of the Rings, not just because of the movies. My grandmother gave me that book when I was like fucking, I want to say like 5 or 6 years old, and we read it together. But yeah, that's a whole other thing. But point is, The Stand, total garbage. Don't watch it, especially if you've read the book. Don't sully the book by watching this abysmally bad show. It's terrible.
Something we mentioned last episode, I think, was Mythbusters. I forgot what it was for, but were you a Mythbusters watcher?
I not so much myself. My wife loved it, and both my boys are like huge science nerds, so they loved all the science stuff that was in MythBusters. But I can't say no, I wasn't a huge fan of the show, but I did enjoy it when I saw it.
I'm a fan of Adam Savage, who's one of the hosts of Mythbusters.
He's the taller blonde guy.
No, the redhead, kind of balding.
Oh, the
not
guy
not him. The other one.
Oh, the other one. Okay.
Maybe he was blonde, but
I can't remember.
There was like a blondish. No, he was redheaded, wasn't he?
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember.
Anyway, Adam
Savage. The mustache and the other guy.
Here's a picture. Anyway, he did a side show for Discovery Plus or something called Savage Builds, where he just builds like cool things that he wants to build per episode. So he like built his own Excalibur sword out of meteorite metal. And what else did he do? He did his own Mad Max car and battled against 2 other people with their own cars.
Like a demolition derby.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was more like safe in terms of like you had to build certain weapons that won't kill the other people. So it was like a safe way to do it. There was no crashing, really.
Boring.
It was actually pretty good though. The last episode was like a food fight, but non-lethal, and try to max it out and do whatever you can.
How many food fights have you been to that are lethal food fights though? You're fucking firing carrots out of a Nerf cannon to people?
Yeah. Potato gun?
Ah, yeah, good point.
right to the throat. Anyway, Savage Builds, lots of episodes, say like 9, 7. Okay. That's lots. That's good. That's good compared to some of the Netflix.
It was only like 1 season.
Yeah, so far it's only 1 season. I would bet on it coming back.
Okay, cool.
And I would even suggest you watch it because you seem like the type that would love it.
Yeah,
you should go back and watch Mythbusters. Come on now.
We have it in our library, and I think my wife's watched all of them. And it was one of those shows where I would come in and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
No,
there was one that you'll probably like this one. But I've seen a good chunk of them, but I've never called myself like a fucking huge hardcore fan of the show.
Yeah, I've seen them all. I haven't seen all the Mythbusters kids version.
Oh, there's a kids version?
Yeah, there was I think it was done for Discovery Kids.
Okay.
And they had Adam Savage and a bunch of kids that were the Mythbusters.
The one thing I did like about that show, and I remember talking to my kids about it, is apparently Adam Savage and Walrus Man, I don't know his name, it's terrible, but he's a great guy.
Jamie Heineman.
Okay. Apparently they disliked each other. They did not like each other at all. This is what I heard, so I don't know if it's true. But they worked really well together. They were like, hey, you know what? We're doing a show, and in this show, the whole point is for us to test things. You know what I mean? And I always remember telling my kids, like, see, you can, even if you don't like who you're working with, you always put your best foot forward, and you always, try to complete the best thing, that you can do. And I always that was one element of the show that I really thought was cool, that always stuck with me, is even if these guys don't like each other, they're still putting together the best show that they can.
I don't think it was. I get your point. I don't think it was as far as not liking each other. I think it was just more like I wouldn't like hang out with you for 3 hours a day if I had the choice, but I don't have the choice. So.
Yeah, exactly, and I believe it was they came at things from different angles. So yeah, the way they would approach stuff was very different. Now, this is one thing I wanted to bring up. Phil, you'll be able to put up a picture. So. We have a horse mask in our house. We've just had it fucking forever.
A latex one type thing?
Yeah. And my son just had one too. And he was just bugging the cat, and then he turned over and I took a picture of it. And I put on Reddit, horsing around on Family Day. So picture this, if you will, and I'm sure Phil will put the picture up.
That was on Kingston Reddit or something else?
No, on Kingston Reddit, on Kingston, Ontario.
I must have missed it. Jeez.
But I put it's a picture of my 7-year-old son, 9-year-old, 8-year-old son, one of those ages, in a horse mask. The first response I get to it was, I'm not sure that this is going to bode well for Canada. This opens the doors for richer provinces to buy up a limited supply and possibly leaving the poorer ones out in the cold. To which I responded, okay. Now, this person went on to explain to me that, oh shit, I replied to the wrong topic. But
leave it, you know.
This was not what I expected as a sort of answer. I was like, maybe people are going to tell me to go fuck myself, or Kingston's great and they love horses, whatever. I did not expect a response about somebody saying this does not bode well for Canada. Like, I'm sorry, it's just a kid in a fucking horse mask.
You should be a better parent.
It's a fucking horrible monster of a parent putting your kid in a fucking horse mask.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised with a Kingston Reddit.
Or PETA comes after me, like, you fucking monster.
Is that a real horse head?
That's what I should have done, and then had a picture of my kid posing. I'll superimpose him in a fucking shot from the Godfather with the.
I'm not editing that.
The Glue Factory. But all right.
Oh, so, just one more thing. One more honorable mention. It's a guilty pleasure, and people are going to groan. Expedition Bigfoot. Okay, so I'm a huge nut of those ghost shows, like Ghost Hunters, that kind of realm. Like, there's a lot of them. And
so, do you believe in ghosts and the supernatural?
Oh, we're going to get into this? I believe in the science behind something that's there. I don't believe in heaven or hell.
I was going to say, what a religious answer. I believe in the science of something that's
there.
I believe that sounds like what's on the cover of the Scientology textbook.
I believe there's like an energy force, like some kind of energy that we don't understand.
That's what Kenobi was when he died.
Exactly. So, like, it's just something I like. There's so many different things, like so many ways to come to look at the idea of ghosts. And I don't believe that they're like straight up, oh, I died, I'm an angel, whatever, like, I don't believe that. And I don't automatically believe people when they say I've seen ghosts, blah, blah, blah. But there's just so much stuff that we don't know, and so much evidence. Like, we don't know which evidence is real or not. But I can't believe in my brain that every single bit of evidence that's been put out there in terms of ghost shows or ghost anything is all false. Just doesn't make sense. It's kind of like UFOs to me. Like, we already know UFOs exist.
Yeah.
We have government showing us stuff that they don't understand.
But I like that what was going on. I think it was a huge fucking pandemic was starting, and the government was like, shit, we've got to do something that people have a pandemic. Hey, you know what's real? Aliens.
They didn't say that, Rob. They said UFOs are out there. That's all we're calling it. Here's some release stuff that we don't understand. We couldn't figure out. Distract.
For me, my issue, and this is the only thing I'll say about it in regards to ghosts, is that, so if you're a person who died, right, and now you become this metaphysical being that you're no longer forced to live in this corporeal body, why in the fuck would you stay on planet Earth? That is the part of it that I will never understand.
Well, let me put it this way. Why would you go back to places that you visited? Why would you look at old pictures? To me, it's the same idea. It's like you don't want to let go of your memories.
Yeah, and maybe that's entirely a difference of opinion in that if I was now not a corporeal body, I'd be like, holy shit, dude, I'm going to fucking Mars. I'm going to other universes. I'm going right into the Milky Way. I'm gone. You know what I mean? None of my fucking family can see me. I can't do anything with them. Fuck this shit. I'm gone.
But what if time isn't a limitation? Would you not want to go look at your life and how you lived it? Like, as a kid or as a teenager, you not want to see like a third party view of this stuff going down?
No, and
Not sex, because that would,
oh fuck, can you imagine? That'd be the one thing that would get me away from Earth. Like, Jesus Christ, that's how poorly I am at this. Fuck this shit. I'm gone. But no, the only story, if you ever get a chance, and I cannot stand the actor Casey Affleck, either as a person or as an actor. I think he's terrible. But there was one movie that he was actually really good in, and it wasn't Manchester by the Sea. If you watch that movie and you're not hanging yourself by the end of it, then you're an impressive person. But he did a movie called Ghost Story, which was actually a pretty cool movie. The whole movie he dies, and in his ghost form, he's just a sheet. He just has a sheet over him. And I don't want to spoil the movie. It gets very metaphysical, but I think that movie, um, it tackles what I don't believe in ghosts, but if I did, that's where I would like to see a ghost story be. Like, that's where I would see ghosts, what they would do with their lives. But yeah, if you ever get a chance, so yeah, there's an honorable mention. Watch the Casey Affleck movie, and then don't watch any of his other movies because he's an asshole. But watch that movie Ghost Story because it's a fucking good movie.
So back to Expedition Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, sorry. We got
no, it's fine. Do you think there could be a chance, in the vast amount of forests we have, that there could be a ape-like
absolutely.
or person who's way off the grid?
Totally believe that there are hundreds of thousands of physical creatures on this planet that we have not identified. I would believe
recent that is common is that lizard that can go on your finger and it's like right on the tip. They have a picture of that, which is right here somewhere. Thanks.
Like I'm doing a disco show. Well, there's that. What the fuck is it? It's it's a maggot or a fly or something. They nicknamed it like the zombie fly, where it can, or the zombie bee or something. It can go into another insect, or maybe it's a zombie fish, something like it, whatever. It will go into another insect. It will kill that insect and then effectively take over its nervous system. And
it sounds like a horsehair worm or whatever they call it.
Something like that. Yeah, it's nicknamed like the zombie maggot or the zombie something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy shit! If stuff like that can exist, I would definitely believe in something like Bigfoot. But you're never going to get me ever to believe A, in religion, never, and B, in ghosts. That's where I draw the line.
Okay, we can move on.
Exactly. Enough of this ghost talk, because we'll be here for hours.
Fuck you, Rob. Jesus.
We had two movies to watch. One that we realized was a show, or that you realized was a show, and then informed me of it. Because what I decided to do, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch it on like Monday morning, because I remember that today was a holiday. I'll watch it on Monday morning. And then when you said it was a show, and then I found out there's 4 shows in it, so it's 4 hours long. I'm like, shit, I'm not going to be able to get all of this in. But I watched 2 episodes of that show, and I unfortunately never got a chance to watch An Easy Girl.
Hate you so much right now. You know what? I'm just going to review it, because I'm not waiting a week for you to watch it. You're going to watch the next thing. And you don't want to watch it. Let's go right into it, okay?
All right. You want to start with An Easy Girl? Because I'm sure
I am going to explain this Wait, sorry.
What happened?
Thing pause. We
did
good?
It? I think
okay, so. Did on my end. I have 20% battery left, so we'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, we'll continue this on the iPad. Double clips. Anyway, okay. I'm going to explain this to you. Oh, I'm so mad at you right now. Oh my god! I knew this was going to be bad, but I'm gonna
see. And this is what I fucking get like when I watch a movie that I hate. You get incensed by how bad it is.
It's bad that this has gotten critically like good. It's gotten awards or something. Like,
oh my god!
Fuck off! Like, okay, it's one of those coming of age French movies. Okay, you made me watch this. I'm just reminding you. I'm going to remind you multiple times. Okay. Far and above the best thing about this movie, and probably the best, well, one of two things that's good about this movie is the locations. It's all done in France, in the French Riviera, specifically mostly in Cannes.
Okay.
So you got all these little beach locations, the clubs, the beach locations where the water is like really like clear. I'm like,
Okay.
oh, I want to go there, And there, I really want to go there, but I know that I have to be rich because it's going to be super expensive. It's like
rich or a young lesbian discovering herself.
If I tell people, maybe.
I was gonna say, you said you like cans. I'm like, I like where this review is going.
I will disappoint you. That is not what the movie's about.
Oh, god damn it! All right, I'm not gonna watch it.
Well, not anyway. You know this. The main character. How do I have so many notes? Okay. The main character, her name is Naima. She's 16. Okay. Has a gay friend named Dodo.
Okay.
Now
Dodo is her real name, or
it could be like something in. No, Dodo is a guy. A gay
Dodo's
guy
a guy. Okay.
So it's not the gay
Still,
friend that you want.
Dodo is a shitty name to have.
And an older cousin named Sophia. Okay. No. Okay. So Naima works at this resort type place, like a rich resort where rich people go to. And they go for food and stay, and then they go over to the beach and come back. Anyway, there's a freaking garden that there's an elevator that goes down the hill of this garden, and I'm like, I've never seen that before. The more rich stuff.
So it's Riven from the video game Myst.
But the point is her mother works at this resort, and she stays there with her mom, who I guess they have work quarters. Anyway, that'll come into play later. Her cousin it's the summer now. School's over. Her cousin comes to visit. Her cousin's older, has plastic surgery, is kind of out there with like her sexuality. Okay. So
and this is Sophia.
The first freaking scene of this movie is her sunbathing, topless, on this beautiful beach.
Now, would you say she's a plastic surgery, like monster fake boobs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and her lips are like puffy, like the not like that, but like
she's Cthulhu apparently on the French Riviera.
Anyway, that's how she talks. I'm a horrible person. I'm sorry. Okay, so she comes for the summer, and Naima kind of looks up to Sophia and wants to be Sophia, kind of. They go out clubbing together, and they meet this wealthy guy. The wealthy guy's into Sophia. The wealthy guy has a friend that hangs out with him too, but he's like older, and the wealthy guy's about 40, maybe 38, that kind of area. So it's kind of sketch.
Now hold on. Like, Sophia's problem.
Is
Sophia like
22 or something? Okay. Like, I don't know if she lied about her age, and it doesn't really come up. But she had plastic surgery, so I'm guessing she would have to be of age. I don't know.
Unless her fucking parents signed her off when she was 18, said, sure, let her get all that shit.
Anyway, Naomi looks up to her. They meet the guys at the club. The guys at the club take them back to their yacht on this beach. And so Dodo comes along with them as well. Fucking Dodo. Then
so hold on. So the two guys are straight that I've picked up, Nanaimo and Sophia. And why is Dodo coming along?
Because he's best friends with Naima. So they're like best friends. Anyway.
Okay.
And honestly, when they introduce these two rich guys, they're like talking in the boat. They live together on the boat.
Oh.
It kind of like at first I bad of me to assume, but like it just
like I know why Dodo's coming along.
It was so homoerotic almost, the way they were talking to each other was just like, oh, it's this kind of movie. Anyway, no judge. I just want it to go somewhere, you know. So they go
I
to
know
the
where
yacht.
I want it to go. It sounds like it's not going in that direction.
They go to the yacht. They hang out, do rich people stuff. And then eventually, Sophia and the rich dude go downstairs and
They start banging.
oral sex.
They're visiting
Not quite sex yet. He hasn't gotten that far with her.
He's feeling her cans.
That's good. I like that. Naima then spies on them, goes downstairs, is like looking at her cousin getting eaten out, literally.
Does it say like Brazzers at the bottom of the fucking video? Because this does not sound like, this sounds kind of stupid.
The most this movie goes is like softcore porn, and it's only for like a few, like couple scenes.
Okay.
Like you see boobs, you see outlines of other things, you almost see dick, like, you know, like, almost. Well, you start to see ball sack and
Dodo's ball sack.
I saw the dude's hairy butt, so you know. Okay, so she walks in on her cousin. They're staring at each other. No, it's not like
Naima Bar and
Naima and Sophia.
I'm never gonna get that fucking name.
You know Dodo.
What the fuck?
By the way,
so Dodo and the other guy are banging each other in a different room.
Sorry, I forgot that part. They get into an argument, Dodo and Naima, and Dodo leaves, and he expects Naima to go with him, but she chooses to stay with her cousin. This is a whole thing of the movie. And then, so they're down. We go back to where I was talking. Downstairs, they're staring at each other. You would think Naima would go, "Oh, shit, where am I? Where's the bathroom?" No, just like, and then she eventually just goes, "Okay, I got to turn around," and goes up to the top of the boat and lays down on the couch, now. Sleeps. The next day, Sophia and Naima leave, and they go.
Sorry, hold on. Where is the other fucking rich dude in the middle of all this?
He's just like he hangs around on the boat.
Are you sure he's not like the butler for the other guy?
Eventually, it comes out that they work together, doing like trading of art exhibit pieces or like old artifacts, not artifacts,
like sculptures and shit like that type of stuff.
Yeah, the one main thing that they mentioned in the movie was this old weight compass type thing, like with
like periscope.
Yeah, it's got like adjustable things to help you guide your way through the seas type thing in old times. And so that's one thing that came up, but that'll come up later.
Sounds like a riveting fucking movie so far.
I was hoping it was going somewhere. At first, I was like, okay, this has got to go somewhere. It's got to get good, right? No. Okay, so they go to, the two girls go to an expensive store, like really expensive, like I think it was a $3,500 watch that they were looking at, and they bought, and they put it on the tab of the guy on the boat.
Okay.
And she's trying to explain to Naima with no uncertain words is that this is part of the deal. Like, you hang out with the rich guy, you get
you bang him, and then he gives you stuff.
But we don't, without saying it, you know? So she goes, which one do you want? And she gets the expensive watch. She goes, if you don't like it, you can just come back in a week or two and trade it in for something that you do want. Because then it's yours. It's your money, right? You get what I'm saying?
Okay. So
they're buying the most expensive thing, and that's looked at as money instead of the actual item.
Right.
So they can then it's theirs. It's not the guy's money anymore. And then they can come back and use that to buy whatever they want.
Or give it back to them and get the money back type of thing.
I don't know if they work like that because credit cards, it has to go back.
Oh, it's credit card. Okay.
I don't know. It's a tab. So
now, did Sophie steal this dude's card, or he said, "Hey, now that we fucked each other, you blew me or I ate you out or whatever. Here's my credit card."
The assumption is that, like, go buy yourself something nice,
Okay.
I don't think it was ever said, but that would be the assumption. And that I assume that's how it works. Like if you're super rich, you have a tab somewhere and you get girls, and you can use that to get girls, you know?
You have like they have like little Amex cards that you can get these are the ones that you'll give to the girls that you bang on your yacht. You have your regular Amex card, and then you have your little knockoff Amex card.
They have Black Series cards out there that have no limit.
That's right.
Anyway.
Prostitute, I meant.
So they buy the watch, whatever. She gets a watch and a purse or whatever. Next scene is basically Naima suddenly, she's talking to Toto or whatever his name is, Dodo. Yeah. and at the beginning of the movie, a bunch of her friends and Dodo gave her money to go do something with, you know, like it was her birthday.
Treat yourself type of shit.
Yeah, like go on a trip, go do it. It was a fairly okay amount of money. She all of a sudden takes the money out and goes, I'm going to get a tattoo. Okay. Because her cousin has a tattoo of Carpe Diem on her lower back.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah, because it was something original.
Exactly. And I was like, really, Robb and Will? Anyway, he's like, what are you doing? I don't want you to spend the money I gave you on a tattoo. I thought we were going to go on a trip or something. And she's like, you gave me that money. It's my money. This is something I agree with her on. You gave me that money. I can decide what I want to do with it.
Right.
So she goes and gets that tattoo. That never comes up again, except to show her cousin that I want to be like you. And she's like, thank you.
Now, does she get the exact same tattoo in the exact same place? Okay.
Exact same. Naima and Sophia are hanging out, and the voiceover says the rule is like, you cannot contact these rich guys again. In general, that's not the way you do things. You have to wait till they contact you.
Okay. And
not to expect a contact for a couple days. So on like the second or third day, they're in the movie theater and they're texting while the movie's on. Oh my God. If I didn't already hate this movie, this would be the biggest critique I have. Don't ever do this, people. If I see your screen on in a movie, I'm going to be mad.
Be more like me. Go watch a movie and be like, I don't understand exactly why they're doing this, because here's the exact reason that I have a problem.
I'm just going to throw your phone. If you're going with me, I'm going to throw your phone. Okay. Anyway, that has nothing really big to do with it, but it just bothered me. So the text was the guy inviting them to the resort where Naima's mom works. So they both go with a bunch of rich people. It's kind of like a networking type. We're friends. They were kind of explained it in the movie, saying the rich guy is rich because he networks his friends. He made friends that are rich, and he networks those friends and gets them to work together. Okay. Somehow he makes money out of this. He invented LinkedIn. He trades items and stuff. Sorry,
So Sophie's banging the guy that created LinkedIn, and Nanaimo got the same tattoo that Sophie has, and Dodo is upset that Nanaimo didn't take him on a vacation and instead got the same tattoo that Sophie has.
The weird thing,
Sophie is explaining to her in so many terms, I'm a prostitute. Yeah. Your house, your prostitution works.
It gets weird because they go to this networking thing of friends, and it's at the resort where her mom works. And then they don't do anything with this except for have the staff watch the rich people eat from like the chef's area type thing. They're all like sitting there going, like, kind of like, why are you there? But they didn't do anything with that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The mom doesn't come in and go, what are you doing here? Like, nothing. So they end up, at the end of the night, Sophia is invited to the yacht, but Nanaimo. I'm getting so... I'm the worst at this. Why did we do a podcast?
I believe her name is Amenia. What's that blood disease?
It's a hard name
Anemia.
for me because I'm used to Naomi or something. Nanaimo,
Anemic
sure, let's
Naomi.
do that. Nanaimo doesn't get invited, so it's like, ooh, that one hurts. The next day,
That's it. That's just so you're not invited. Bye.
Sophia goes, yeah. She doesn't say, oh, you're not invited, but I'm invited to go back to the yacht. Are you good to go home? that kind of thing. And by the way, we're invited to go to a trip tomorrow, so can you bring my stuff in the morning? And I didn't bring it. So she's like, yeah, sure, sure, no problems. Just goes home, sleeps, comes back in the morning. The next day they go on the yacht. They go to a place in Italy because it's right next door. She was supposed to go to an audition with Dodo for something, and she blew it off to go on this little trip.
What is Naomi? Now hold on. Naomi was working at the place where her mom worked, the Rich Club place. Was she just like a fucking
co-op there? Like was
okay, like as just like a waitress, or
she was nothing. I'm guessing she was nothing. She was just like she lived there because her mom was working there.
Okay, so what was this
in the staff quarters type thing?
What was she supposed to be auditioning for with Doodoo?
Like some acting thing or something.
Okay.
And then with Doodoo. So she blows that off. They go to some networking thing where some lady totally makes fun of, like, in that like trashy kind of like, oh, I heard blah blah, or do you know this book, or blah blah, like trying to out her as like a whore.
Try to out Sophie as a whore.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. And Sophia takes it like a champ. Like she's been through this before. It was like she like did little comments like, I'm better than you. I don't need to do this type of thing, but without saying it.
Okay.
And then digs it, gives a little dig back, and then says, because this girl that's going after Sophia is like an old woman. She's still hot, but she's an old woman who's against plastic surgery. Yeah, has morals. Who would have thought? And then it ends where Sophia goes, can I go take a swim on your beach? And then she's like, sure, no problem. She starts taking off her top right there. Just like, oh my god, where are we? Okay, so that night Sophia has sex with Andre. Andre is the rich dude.
Okay.
The next morning, Andre has them kicked off for stealing one of the expensive items.
Okay.
And so they're kicked off the boat, and that's a horrifying scene for them. Naima tries to talk Dido. I can't even.
He sings with Eminem.
She tries to talk to Dido at a club or something. He ignores her, tries to give her the, I'm not dealing with you because you didn't come to my audition. Then he gives in right away. He goes back to her, tells her he got the role. They're still friends. And I said, this really serves no point at all. Then Sophia leaves without saying anything because she got kicked off the boat and she understands that she's gotten the cold shoulder.
From the rich dude.
She's just like, I'm leaving. It's a traumatic experience, whatever. Which it shouldn't be for her because she's a whore.
Been through this before, yep.
Yeah. So she leaves without saying anything. Naima decides to become a chef, and I want 2 hours of my life back. That's the movie. There's nothing.
So what you're saying is Naima, and again, so movies and narratives are not difficult. A lot of people think that if you talk about narrative and you talk about character arcs and shit like that, it's not that hard. If your character is a different person, they've learned something. They've learned something about themselves. They've learned something about their family, whatever. By the end of the movie, that's called a character arc. They're on their journey, right? They're on the character's journey, and they discover something about themselves by the end. For me, I always, and you'll find this as time goes on, I always cite the best example of a character arc in history is Marty McFly. Marty McFly, Back to the Future, he learns all about his parents by the end of the movie. He learns that his parents were people just like him, yap, yap, yap. From what you're saying in this movie, It sounds like Nanaimo is no different at the end of the movie than what she was at the start of the movie. The only difference being that now she's got a tattoo that says Carpe Diem.
And now she doesn't have any urge to be a whore. It's
Okay.
it's basically my cousin came in. I looked up to my cousin, wanted to be like my cousin, tried to be like her, and I didn't fit in. So, and then nothing came of it.
So I'll say that this movie was Netflix geniusly marketed this movie because a pervert like me saw it pop up and was like, "This is a movie about an easy lesbian girl."
I love easy girls, yeah.
Right, exactly, and this is totally so. And it sounds a lot like, so I don't know if you remember this movie from a few years ago. It was called Blue is the Warmest Color, and it was a movie about these two young girls, French as well. It's like a 3 hour fucking movie, and it's just about this girl discovering maybe she's a lesbian, maybe she's not. She doesn't know. Yap 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 yap. It's beyond fucking boring. But it was nominated for every award under the sun because it's nouveau, and you see these girls just going to town on each other. For me to say a movie about lesbians is boring means it has to be really fucking boring. And it sounds like that's exactly what this was. It's like, hey, you're going to learn something about yourself. It's French, so it looks really pretty, and the language sounds really, really nice. You'll just listen to this for an hour and a half or 2 hours.
I gave it a chance. It was awful. Like it built to nothing. It built. It was an okay build, but nothing came of it.
Did Sophie have an okay build?
Yes, yes, she did. I would enjoy those. Anyone would, but it was just
I know.
It was like, okay, we're building. They're gonna get to something. Something crazy is gonna. No. Just it's like they ran out of money. I was saying to my wife, this is the type of movie that they need an excuse to make a movie to get money.
Yep.
There's nothing to it.
Yep. And like how many fucking shows, how many movies, they do not begin with the end in mind. You know what I mean? Like they don't have an ending to get to.
This movie is money laundering.
And yep. So
okay, so we're gonna pause for a second.
All right. Here we are back with part 2. Phil has gone over An Easy Girl. Man, that didn't sound right at all. Phil has described An Easy Girl.
I just want to let you guys know at home that if you are hearing a difference in audio for any reason or an echo for any reason, I apologize. My phone died. I'm charging it, and I can't have the headphones in at the same time. I should buy the attachment. Cool.
Also, Phil, I don't know if you heard the previous one, but he highly recommended An Easy Girl on Netflix. It's the story of Nanaimo and Dodo and everything that happens with prostitutes.
I'll beat your face. That's what.
The French prostitute Sierra. But all right, that brings us to.
There's no Sierra in this.
What we thought was a movie and turned out to be a show, and it's called the Cecil Hotel, and I can't remember what's the sub.
Crime scene at the Cecil Hotel or something.
Crime scene at the Cecil Hotel. So I knew as soon as they started talking about it, I did not know that the footage that they were going to show about this Elisa Lam, we'd all seen this footage, I think, from back when it was on the news and whatnot. I didn't know that it was from this Cecil Hotel. But I will say, as soon as the show starts, a brief synopsis about what this is about, from what I was able to put together, is a history about the Cecil Hotel in America. I believe it's in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
The Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, and it's really a history of the hotel and shit that's happened at that hotel. Now, they're doing a whole bunch of voiceovers when it starts. Different people talking about their relationship with the hotel, what they know about the hotel, et cetera. One person refers to the hotel as a nexus of dark energy. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh, fuck. I am not going to enjoy this because this is going to be a bunch of people that are, and I wrote down, I expect that it's going to be a story told by an older white woman with a bunch of cats that believes that crystals can heal the universe. Because anyone that starts talking about nexuses of dark energy, that's immediately what comes to mind. That there's going to be, I hate that. I hate anything. That's not true. Anything outside of science fiction. If you're trying to seriously make me believe in something as a nexus of fucking dark energy, shut up. I believe that in Star Trek we run into nexuses of dark energy. I'm not going to believe it in the fucking Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles.
Well, the first episode started with this girl talking, and it's like a narrator going over things, and I thought that it was going to be dramatic reconstruction of what happened type those type of shows where you get actors just to act out the whole thing, and I hate that. I'd rather have a documentary that goes over the actual scenes, actual stuff. So I was like, oh my God, no.
See, I can't stand when they do that and they try to add this, like, they try to add, like, it was so visceral, it was so violent that you never believed what he could do. It's like, shut the fuck up and just describe what happened. Like, that shit drives me fucking bonkers. But it started becoming it's a bunch of fucking, it's like fucking Shakespeare said, man, it's a bunch of sound and noise and signifying nothing. You're just saying a bunch of fucking words that don't mean anything. Like describing the Cecil Hotel. It's a dark nexus of dark energy that we know that all the fabric of the universe. It's like, shut up. Bad shit happened at the hotel. Great. Move the fuck on. Stop. Bow. And it's just padding fucking time is all it's doing.
Yeah, one thing with that, not with that, but the thing I mentioned with her narrating stuff and it's starting to seem like a dramatization, it comes back at the end. Like you'll understand why they went with that choice. But for someone just coming in, I could see them turning this on.
Yeah,
and going, this is not what I want.
As soon as she brought up Nexus of Dark Energy, if I wasn't watching it for this, it would have immediately been fucking off. And this, for me, this has to do with all the way back to my experience with conspiracy theorists really was born out of 9/11. Because 9/11 had a shit ton of conspiracy, and still to this day has a bunch of idiot conspiracy theorists. I passionately fucking hate conspiracy theory. And my reason for fucking hating conspiracy theory is conspiracy theorists never take into account the human element of a story like that. And what I mean by that is you'll see all these idiot conspiracy theorists that go on about how 9/11 was an inside job, and what they did was they knew that jet fuel was going to burn that fucking building down, and it dropped about, like, how about talking about the 3,500 people that fucking died? How about showing some respect for the fucking firefighters and the police that ran into that building? You know?
Okay, let me just... Oh, we're going to go on this tangent. Let me just say that you can have total respect for those things you mentioned and still have that other side of this whole thing where you believe that it is an inside job. You can still have it be an inside job, and that's horrible to all these people. Well, absolutely, it doesn't make it any different. It's still horrible to all these people. It's still something that should never happen.
It's the way that these people describe it. When I see and maybe it's just because these are the conspiracy theorists that they throw on fucking TV. They're nutcases. But the majority of them, I hate how they do not, and it's, you know, to your point, these people, and I believe the same in this documentary, I guess.
Was it Tower 3 or something like that?
No. With this, I cannot remember. It was a guy. It was on an episode of a show I love called Penn and Teller's Bullshit, where they're talking about it, and this guy is just describing, you know. So as soon as all these people were thrown out the window, that's when the second plane went in. I'm like, dude, to say something like as soon as all these people were thrown out the window shows your complete fucking disregard for those people. You know what I mean? The way he describes it is he was so disregarding of the human element of it. You know, and with this, it was so. That's the one thing of the many things I hate about conspiracy theorists. The other thing that I hate about conspiracy theorists is they are, and this is something that's social media, in my opinion, has caused to everybody on the planet, and it's evidenced by you and I having this conversation, thinking that people are going to listen to it. It's created a lot of narcissism in people. And with conspiracy theorists, they somehow think that they're more intelligent than police. even though they have nothing better to do than to pour over what they find in other social media, that other people's ideas that they collect into their own. So it's just kind of, it's the Ouroboros. It's just the fucking cycle feeding itself. You know what I mean? And that's how I felt about a lot of the people that they had little glimpses of in the start of this, that you knew, okay, we're going to talk to these guys later on in later episodes. And I was like, I know I'm not going to like this, because I hate those types of people.
It comes up a big amount later on, and it's good. Like, it's really well handled. You'll like it.
Well, and the second episode had they were talking to one guy, that Indian guy, I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. But well, you know what? I'll get there, because I wrote a note down about that. Also, so there's
and by the way, we'll talk about 9/11 some more another time.
Right.
We'll save that for another show.
I'm sure there's been a Netflix movie about 9/11. But these are the same people. So there's a documentary, I believe, a Netflix documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats. The people that are behind this feels very similar to the Don't Fuck with Cats people, where you put something out on the internet and the internet fucking devours it. You know what I mean? Like, you've got people that will watch it ad nauseum to come up with all these theories. And in the case of Don't Fuck with Cats, they did assist the police. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing I can say that's good about that situation. This situation, maybe it happens, but so far I have not seen these people helping the police out in any fucking capacity. It might happen. Unfortunately, like I said, I only got 2 episodes of it, but I didn't see it.
I think that's the reason why they introduce evidence to the public, is to get a little bit of information that might be true, so that they can work off of that.
But there's a difference between putting something out there for the public, saying, have you seen this woman? This is the last footage we have of her. Maybe someone sold her drugs. Maybe somebody slept with her that night. Maybe someone ran into her at a party. They don't want some guy to go, hey, you know what? There might be ghosts. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, come with something useful. And that's why I think they put stuff like that out. Come with something useful to this fucking conversation. Not that there were goddamn aliens that she was looking at down the hall type of thing. You know what I mean? Those people are, to me, useless, because, again, they disregard the human element of
if you can't come to this with a piece of evidence or something to go on, like you said, you can't say that down the hall there was aliens that she was talking to, because where does that come from? Like, where's the aliens part? Like,
and also, what good does it do? It's not going to help these fucking cops at all. No. The second thing, I 100% believe that English couple. So they start talking. We're talking like everybody's already watched the show. And if you haven't watched the show, what they start doing is they start interviewing this English couple, that this was going to be their first trip out of England. They said they were first trip out of rainy England, and they wanted to go to LA. So they found this, travel package that was very cheap to go to LA. And these people talk about, they didn't realize that they were going to Skid Row, and they discovered that they were going to stay on Main, which is
Skid Row. Explain Skid Row.
Yeah, I have that in a second to talk about what Skid Row is.
We'll get there.
So they go to this hotel called Stay on Main, which is the Cecil Hotel, in effect, the Cecil Hotel. And they're talking about their terrible experience there and whatnot. I did not believe these people for a second. And the reason for that, my wife is she's very believing of people. Someone's telling her something, she's like, this person's telling me the truth. For me, personally, just my experiences in life, I've been raised with, as soon as someone explains something to me, like, this person's full of shit, or this person wants something from me, or this person's doing it for a reason. I'm a very pessimistic person that way.
Yeah.
And with this couple, I didn't buy it for a second. As soon as they start talking about how terrible it was, and the water, it was just awful, and whatnot, I'm like, sounds like these guys wanted the second fucking vacation to LA, and that's why they're being interviewed for this show. I didn't believe them for a second. And those are the types of people that I get why they're doing it.
There's proof that they were there.
Oh, absolutely.
And they were on. There was no. Oh, how do we go through this? Well, you should probably explain the story up until then. Like, what? Okay. Like, I can't say anything until you get to the points, the main story.
So effectively what happened is this couple, as I was explaining, they go to the Cecil Hotel, or the Stay on Main, and they stay at that hotel. At the same time, there's a girl from Vancouver, Canada, named Alyssa Lamb, I believe her name is, who has gone missing. Yeah, and she has gone missing. The last place that she was known to be in is L.A. She posted a lot to Tumblr, apparently. She was kind of a wanderer. She wanted to go and discover herself. She was a younger girl, I think early 20s type of thing. And they suspected foul play. This girl disappeared, and they suspected foul play.
Yep.
Now, this couple,
they also didn't know where she went.
Correct. That's right. She just effectively, yeah, she just effectively. This couple, they once they touched down in LA, they wanted to go to the hotel. So they, or no, I'm sorry, they went to the hotel, and then on their first day, they were out sightseeing. They kind of got lost. They didn't know where they were. They asked someone, "Hey, how do I get to the Cecil Hotel?" And they were like, "Oh my God, that's where that girl was lost." Blah 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 blah. So it basically turns into that's when these people, this English couple, realized that there was this girl had been lost at the hotel that they were staying at. And then this story takes a shift, and I don't want to call it a shift, but more like a pause. It's like, okay, put a pin in that. Like, remember this story? Let's talk about the Cecil Hotel. And the Cecil Hotel was
they also said, I don't know if you're going to get to this. I'm sorry. They also said that while they were visiting and all that, the water was crap, and it was like dirty water and no pressure in the water.
That really doesn't come until the second episode, though. The rest of that first episode is more describing that the Cecil Hotel is kind of a hotel where you can effectively, like, people who are down on their luck, who live in this area of LA called Skid Row, which is where a lot of people, they have no money, they're homeless, they might be addicted to drugs, they might be in and out of mental institutions, et cetera, et cetera. I was fucking flabbergasted to hear that they're Skid Row, and they have a section of the fucking town that's called Skid Row. It is 56 square blocks. I was like, holy shit, that is a huge amount of fucking space.
That is like a downtown core for a lot of cities.
Right? Like, holy, and what's crazy is in Brampton, back in Brampton, this happened after we had left, but my dad still lives there, and a lot of my family still lives there. There is a part of Brampton that's a bit north in Brampton, behind a street called Boulevard, that people are referring to as Tent City. And it's a bunch of homeless people that basically have set up in a quarry. And apparently there's thousands of homeless people there that's where they live now. And seeing all those shots of the tents on the side of the road in Skid Row, that's what it reminded me of. Everybody talking about fucking Tent City back in Brampton. But
they had a little one here just a little while ago in Kingston.
Was there really, eh?
In one of the downtown parks.
Oh shit! What happened to it? Did it just get taken up by the cops?
They ended up having to move and find another place. They gave them like temporary shelter, and I have no idea what happened to that.
But yeah, and I'm sure I don't know. That was before my time here in Kingston, but I'm willing to bet.
No, it was like a couple months ago.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I guess I just didn't notice. Probably because when I hear about, a group of homeless people, I think of fucking Tent City back in Brampton, which is significantly larger, I guess, than the one we had here.
Yeah.
But so what happens in the story is they describe that the hotel is kind of a down and out hotel. It's something where a lot of derelict people might live, and then they go back to the story of how this Alyssa Lamb got lost, and they insinuate, and I have to believe this is bullshit, they insinuate that it took the cops a week to start looking at the CCTV footage that was inside the hotel. I'm willing to bet if you walked in and saw a camera, you're like, let me see what's on that fucking camera. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like a good detective would have walked in and said, I want to see what's on that fucking camera.
Maybe it was a week after the thought of disappearance, like what day it was. Because at first, when she disappeared, they didn't do anything. They didn't think of anything because of this place being such a crap hole that all these crimes happen and cops are called multiple times a day to this hotel. And a lot of times when they call the cops, they don't even show up.
Yeah.
So
because it's such a constancy of the calls that come from this place.
Maybe it was like she disappeared. The hotel admitted at some point during the show that they didn't think anything of it, whatever happens. And then eventually there's a missing the parents to go,
Yep.
where's my kid? And
Yep.
so maybe it was a week in that term.
And so they discover the footage. The only real footage they can find of this girl is her in an elevator. And this is all. You can still look it up now on YouTube. It's still there if you just look up Alyssa Lamb footage. It shows her going into the elevator, pushing a bunch of buttons. It's very grainy footage. She appears to kind of hide on two sides, and by hiding, she like puts herself right up into the corner of the of the elevator. Then she looks out. She looks like she's motioning her hands at someone. She walks out of frame, and that's the last time you see of her. And then, but the one thing that I remember even watching it when I'd seen it before is the elevator door takes a long time to close, and then finally the elevator door closes, and that's the end of the footage. Now, I've heard people say, and this is just what I've seen before, people talking about this footage. I've heard people say there's fucking ghosts. I've heard people say there's fucking demonic spirits, and she's talking to a spirit. To me, and I have not watched the end of this yet, to me, I see a person that is having a bad drug trip. She took something. She's having a bad trip, maybe LSD, maybe some sort of acid, something like that. She's having a bad trip, and she commits suicide. Now, that's what I see. Who knows what the story will turn it into? Because, like I said, I haven't watched the next two, but that's what it feels like. I very, very close to an Asian friend in my life, so I've heard of the kind of, not judgment is the wrong word, but the very strict that the parents can be with you have to deliver. That is the absolute vibe I got when they're going through this girl's Tumblr history, because Tumblr was her social media of choice. Yeah. They're going through her history,
like blogging in small bits.
Yep. Yeah. I never got. Did you ever get into Tumblr? I never in my life have figured out Tumblr.
I've tried before, but I was just like, to me, I did the live journal thing. I've done social media, of course. Like I've done vlogs, but I've never really done Tumblr. And in the way that Tumblr works, where you're just like, you're supposed to post little snippets of like words or pictures or something. It's kind of like Pinterest in a way.
That's exactly what I thought it was. When they showed Tumblr come up on screen, I was like, oh shit, it's Pinterest.
It's Pinterest with like more options, I think. Yeah. I think Pinterest has become Tumblr now. Right. But she was very much into journaling her life through sentences or paragraphs.
She talked about like meeting men and anyone, right? She was apparently just very open to just talking to strangers, men or
she was more. It was more so that she wanted to, but she's not really like promiscuous or anything. She just was like, I want to be able to be more open. I want to. I feel I am this way, but I need to really go out of my
comfort zone.
Yeah.
Well, it felt like she was an introvert that was trying to not become an extrovert, but just to break that introvert kind of shell. And yeah, that's got to be a hard thing to do. I'll fucking talk to anyone. I'm not an introvert at all, and I usually share much more than I should. But yeah, I'm not an introvert, but I can totally understand cracking that shell. It's got to be hard. And that's again why I keep coming back to. She might have got together with somebody, male or female, didn't matter. She got on drugs. Of course, she had a bad trip and met her end. And so what the police do is they put that footage out of the because they're hitting a fucking dead end. They put that footage out on the internet, and they say they put it out on the internet. And the next scene that comes up after the cops say that they put this footage out on the internet, and this is the end of episode 1, is the Indian gentleman that comes on. His moniker across the bottom of the screen is Web Sleuth. And I'm like, fuck off. Like, why is there a term called Web Sleuth? That's like having a fucking... What's that?
If it gets you money, if it gets you views, you can be whatever you want.
And that's exactly what it is. It's these fucking people that, like that guy said, I watched this that video like 10,000 times. I'm like, why? It's terrible, to watch that. But watching it 1,000 times and trying to come up with conspiracy theories as to what would happen does nothing for no one except make your life fucking miserable, unless you want to be fucking miserable, and that's a whole other fucking. You might want to. That's fine, But that as soon as he's like, and this is where my issue with conspiracy theorists kind of flips a coin to the other side. Is this guy's very heartbroken when they discover that she has died. So what they do eventually find out is she went up to the roof or was taken to the roof. They're not really sure what happened. She went up to the roof. There was water containers on the very top of the roof, like 4 huge water tankers. She climbed into one and died. She was naked when she climbed into it. So again, they weren't sure if it was foul play or whatnot, but she was dead. And when they announced it, yeah, unfortunately, this has turned to not a homicide, but a suspicious death. This guy said he was very emotionally crushed by the fact that he learned that she had died. And I was like, that's terrible. One, it's terrible that this poor girl died. Two, it's a bummer that this guy is saddened about it, but you fucking brought it on yourself. Stop watching this footage 1,000 times. You don't know this girl. It's terrible that she's dead, but I feel like watching this over and over and over and over again is you're doing nothing but like whipping yourself with a fucking whip. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like if you think of something current in terms of let's say the Free Britney movement, where it's like there's people like me who think like she should be freed of I forgot what the word is, the contract
her dad,
where her father takes full control of everything.
It's oh shit,
completely forgot. But
power of attorney. That's what it is.
One of those people. What?
He's her power of attorney.
There's another word for it, but yes, exactly what it is. And I'm one of those people who are like, yeah, for sure. Like, I want to see Britney free and everything. But there's other people who like deep diving, looking for whatever they can, just getting like really into it, like too much into it, because you're not helping anybody. Like people who are showing up at all the court cases, people who are trying to sneak in, people who are trying to get any evidence they can't. Like there's levels of this. There's like they had the latest documentary about Free Britney. It's not called Free Britney, but it was it's on HBO Max or no Time. So anyway, look it up. Look it up. Like it's a latest 1 hour documentary on the Free Britney movement, and it's gotten a lot of headlines lately. What am I doing? I'm an editor. I'll put a link or something. There'll be text. There are people. There's different levels. There's like the people who do a podcast based on Britney's Instagram feed.
Christ.
And then cover everything based on that, which is like, what level is that too crazy? It's fine. If you're making money or if it's a hobby, whatever. But when you get to the point where it's taking over your life, you might want to rethink your life.
There's a big fucking difference, and this is again what comes to all these people that get obsessed with, like when we're young. Even now, you have your favorite bands, you have your favorite actors. With me, I have my favorite directors. I'll watch everything they do, but if they like, if Martin Scorsese was to make a shitty movie, he hasn't broken my heart. He hasn't, convinced me that I'm going to go murder him because he made this bad movie. There is a very definitive line between empathy and obsession. And a lot of these people, like this guy became obsessed with like sleuthing and finding out what he could about this girl. And I'm a little bit it, like this guy probably does it. And it's like you're just saying with the Free Britney thing. If you want to do a podcast following her Instagram, fine. You know what I mean? That's great. But don't think that, well, Britney and I are best friends. We're like this fucking close because I follow everything on Instagram. There's a difference between obsession and empathy. You can talk about someone's fucking Instagram and then you can pretend that you and that person are fucking best friends because you're following them on Instagram. And again, that's what social media has done to all of us. It's changed your mind from thinking that, oh, you know what, I follow Phil on Instagram, Phil follows me on Instagram. We know everything about each other's life. Phil knows what my kids look like. You know what I mean? Like it's imagine that kind of, that's where some of those, and some people crack and it stops being, it stops being what social media is designed to be and starts becoming something far more nefarious. And that's kind of how I felt the direction of this show was going with these guys. At least with those guys, like the web fucking sleuth guys. And this is what annoyed me again. And this is, I come back to what I said about conspiracy theorists before. These guys started talking about, oh, did you notice how the elevator closes really, really quickly? Like some of the time's been cut out. Did we watch? The time code is so blurry you can't even make it out. Oh, there's clearly a shoe. Someone shoots. Like, you are offering nothing helpful to this investigation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like shit like that. That's where I'm like, you want to have an opinion? Keep it to yourself. It's not going to help her. It's not going to help her family. It's not going to help the people that are really fucking grieving from this. In any way, shape, or form.
You get thousands of people calling into the cops going, oh, I have an idea. Oh, I have this idea.
Yep.
And then like one of them is going to go somewhere for the case, which is then worth it. But then all these other people are not worth it. And maybe you should look at what you're saying before you go and call and say, oh, my uncle thought he saw Dolly Parton talking to Elvis last week. Who cares?
Exactly. There's nothing for it. And that's, again, like, these people are like, did you guys consider that it might be ninjas? It's like, no, those calls are going to be fucking useless. And it's the people that are going, you know what, I might have seen this woman, blah, blah, blah. And the last thing that I recorded down that was funny, well, to me was kind of funny. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, killed a bunch of people in the 80s, I believe. He stayed at his fucking where he was staying through all his murders was at the Cecil Hotel.
Oh yeah.
And I did think it was quite comical, so I just watched.
That's the Russian guy or Slovakian?
I mean, yeah, Slovakian or no, maybe it was Mexican. I honestly can't remember.
I'm sure it was like Russian area, German, something like that.
Well, he
murdered a serial killer there, then.
Well, no, not Ramirez. Ramirez only murdered people in the U.S.
Actually, Ramirez does sound like a Mexican name, doesn't it?
Maybe
they'll go through this guy later on.
Sorry. But there's a fantastic Netflix documentary called The Night Stalker. I believe it's 4 or 5 episodes about Richard Ramirez. And Richard Ramirez is I say fascinating, but fascinating in the way that fucking Hannibal Lecter was fascinating. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was pure evil.
Yeah.
And what's funny is a lot of the footage that they show in this episode looked like it was taken from the fucking Night Stalker documentary. So I was like, hey, I'm happy to see Netflix not spending any money for their own footage the stock footage that they shot for something else. Hey, let's just bring it over to this one as well, and we'll watch it on this one as well.
Well, what I'm finding with a bunch of TV shows right now, and this goes for some Netflix documentaries as well as a lot of like those channels and stuff. They'll take public video and turn it into some kind of series, like Court Cam. They just take publicly released stuff and put it out there for their use. Like, it's great, good idea. But
whatever's cheap.
That's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
So where did you get to?
I got to the end of the second episode. At the end of the second episode was they discovered that she was in the tank. They let everybody know that she was dead, but they have no idea how she got into that tank, and that's effectively where that episode ends.
Did they draw the line towards the water in that episode?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, they will.
But
it comes
back. The whole point of our show is, are these shows good or not? This one has. I find that all of the Netflix documentaries are really enjoyable. You know, they're
the crime scene ones are amazing.
Even the video game ones, like there's the video game one. Oh Christ! It's in my list. High Score. High Score.
Love?
No, High Score. The one where they talk about like Ataris and everything throughout the
guy who cheated.
Oh yeah, yep. I remember that one.
The King Kong or whatever. Like
that was either. Was it Donkey Kong? I can't remember. He cheated.
Yes.
But there was like even the other ones like the toys that made us. Like I fucking, as you can tell, the toy shit that I have. But yeah, I find Netflix's documentary game is really fantastic. The only thing I will say that what's that?
Making a Murderer.
Making murder. Yeah. Again, the only thing I will say that I don't like about, and they do it to every single one of their documentaries, is I understand the reason why, and it makes sense to do it. So I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it, but it's the very colorful language that they use, like this dark nexus of dark energy that we're going to have in this. It's like, shut up. Just get to the fucking point about what happened.
It's the build, yeah. The average person that consumes television loves that kind of stuff, I feel.
Yeah.
And it gets them into it. And it's just like, there's people like you and I who are like, okay,
just get to the facts.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about like, and like, fuck, what's a murder mystery or, you know, a documentary about murder without the build, right? The build is when, and then when, you know, you see the outcome of that, you're like, oh, so they're building this whole Richard Ramirez thing. Like, I knew who Richard Ramirez was, like, you know, seen this in other books and other shows, but it's that build to get there, you know. When it's a good one, you're like, ah, shit, man, I'm getting wrapped right up into it, you know. So yeah, this Cecil House is
Cecil
good.
Hotel.
What?
Cecil Hotel.
Hotel. What do I call it? Cecil House. Idiot.
Cecil
Yeah,
House.
Cecil
The new reality show.
Yeah,
Who will die first?
Come in here and be murdered.
I have an idea. Next episode, you will watch the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And
have you already watched? You finished it, right?
I finished it, so I haven't been able to say anything. I've said a little bit, but
you say to yourself, this dumb fuck. Once he realizes all the shit he got wrong,
I can't say anything. So you will do the next two episodes, the last two, and everyone. It's like a 4-hour documentary. It's great though. You really get into it. They really get you. And you go, oh, is this getting boring? No, I'm into it. No, I gotta watch the next episode. They give me cliffhangers. So you'll watch the next 2 episodes, and we'll review the whole thing. To be continued. And then I'm gonna pick one.
It's gotta be a real shitty one, and then I'll be the one to do this one. You would have to.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Space.
Space what?
Space Sweepers.
Space Sweepers.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think you'll get a kick out of it. It's sci-fi. It's Asian sci-fi.
Okay. Is it like cartoon or
I think it might be South Korean, but I'm not sure. It could be Chinese.
Okay.
But it looks good. It looks fun, and you're gonna have a lot to tear apart. I guarantee you.
I will say I'll watch it if it's Korean. I'm gonna watch it in Korean with subtitles because that fucking last Below Zero, that shit was terrible. There's no fucking way I'm watching it with the English audio again.
I'm always gonna watch it with audio dub. There's no way I'm not. But I believe that this is a movie, so you don't have to worry. But you'll watch the other 2 episodes in this movie, and then we'll talk about it on the next show.
All right. And I am going to do my best to get in Dungeon Girls Who Like Me, or whatever that show was called. All I remember is it's Dungeon Girls. And see what I can watch of that and see how much I enjoy Dungeon Girls.
To pick up. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
All right. All I remember is Dungeon Girls, and that's what I'll do my search for.
You're just curious about it, but yeah.
That's right.
There's lots of anime boobs bouncing.
That's all I need. That's what will get me. That's what fucking sold me on an Easy Girl, and now I just find out that that's a huge fucking ripoff.
Don't watch it. Like, as much as I want you to suffer for making me watch it, do not watch it. There's no. It's just unless you're like a teenage girl who likes
to be a prostitute.
I don't know. Like I'm trying to find a demographic. There is none. It's an awful movie. Stop.
So, in closing, I will ask one thing. We're both big fans of the MCU. Did you watch the trailer?
We both live about. I could probably look out my window and wave at you.
Did you watch the trailer for the new Justice League?
I will not.
No, I watched it, and it looks just as bad as I know it's going to be.
When it's a guaranteed watch, I will stop watching the trailers. Except for one that's coming, that Spider-Man movie that's been talked about so much.
Yeah, but that's still Marvel, though. That's not DC.
I know, but I'm relating and saying
okay.
Most movies, Godzilla versus King Kong, that one that's coming, I watched the first one. I won't watch a second trailer because I know I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Jurassic World Dominion, whatever they're calling it. If they bring out another trailer, I will not watch it.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll get spoiled on certain little aspects, but I don't, because I will pick out little things and go, oh, I bet it's going this way. I bet that in the background you can clearly tell there's that so it ruins it for me. Sometimes I can predict movies and it just sucks.
The Justice League was an unholy mess of a movie, and this Snyder Cut looks magnificently bad. Like they took everything bad about the original and turned it up to 11. So
don't critique it yet. It might be amazing.
No, not a chance. If you look at Zack fucking Snyder's track record, anybody that says that Zack Snyder is a fucking filmmaker needs their head examined. And I'll only spend a second on this. Go back and watch his movies like fucking Sucker Punch and how he destroyed The Watchmen. 300, he ripped it.
Watchmen was horrible.
Right? Dude, you have
so
to watch.
Boring.
Watch Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is... I sometimes at a loss for words to describe how bad it is.
Sucker Punch was fun for, I think, the fight scenes. Were you thinking the same thing? It's a blonde girl, right?
Yep. Blonde girl.
Yeah. Yep. So the fight scenes and all that, like the graphics, the CG and all that, beautiful. I love that. But the story, what story? Like, as far as I remember, I went to see it in the movie theater with a friend, and I was just like,
it was one of those movies that made me embarrassed to be a heterosexual man, because I'm watching, I'm like, oh my God, like, is this what like gay dudes or heterosexual women, is this what they think we think of? This is so embarrassing. And it's the same as with the DC universe, and then I'll get off this, I swear to God. Like
the whole show on it.
The way that Zack Snyder has created these characters, it's so embarrassingly bad. Like, it's one of those ones where you just fucking cringe. You're like, this is so fucking bad.
We'll cover this movie when it comes out.
All right.
As honorable mentions. We'll do a feature honorable mention just for this, because we got to do that.
Just that one.
Yeah, we'll just do a special honorable mention episode. But who knows? You might come out loving it.
Sure. I guess there's you know what? I'll believe in ghosts before I believe that I'll come out of that fucking thinking that it's just fantastic. Okay, but all right.
So next week, next episode, Space Sweepers. Everyone watch it. Everyone finish Crime Scene, Cecil Hotel.
Yep.
It's great. Even as someone who watched it to the end, it's amazing. Just watch it.
And as someone who's only seen 2 shows of it, it's fantastic.
And then I'll give a little teaser. The week after that, we're going to be watching Tribes of Europa.
Ooh.
And that's a whole season.
How many shows are in it?
I don't know.
Oh. I was like, all right, do I got to prep for fucking 12 shows?
Well, we'll see. Whatever you watch. But it's a sci-fi thing, so I know you like that. I like it. So
yeah,
we'll be into it.
All right.
So that's a little teaser. Who knows? We might change things up. It happens.
Yeah. Especially if we watch the first fucking show, we're like, dude, this is terrible. I'm not watching the rest of this shit.
You never know. Well, you never even got into an Easy Girl. You picked it.
That's pretty good. Except we're in high school. That was pretty good. All right, that's the joke to end the show on. So for Netflix Weekly, I am Rob.
I am Phil.
Bye, everybody. The end. That was good. All right, I will stop recording. What? What did we forget?
Nothing.
Oh, bye-bye.